But anyway, getting back to this book, there are some scenes that are very good and touching. When Elias Walker has to shoot his horse, that's a very sad scene, and he then takes the horse of one of the other people. He takes the horse of one of the guys in his party that dies. There's some comedic scenes between Cookie, the cook for the posse. There's two possible endings to the black character named Jig Jones, and we find out some of his backstory in Mexico with General Winfield Scott, and so there's lots of this is the kind of book where there are lots of things. If you go back and read it a second or third time, you would say, I totally don't remember that, but wow, that's an interesting little aside. And some works, some poems, that we'll talk later about the Ed Gein poem that I wrote on camera just finally after 20 years, got the video of put up there. But that's a good example, the Ed Gein poem. When in that video, I see it and I say, maybe it's a 92 or 93. Well, clearly it's a great poem, even just technically, structurally, and whatnot. But you could see me literally right there at the moment. I'm always conservative when my own work is that I don't want to, I always see room for improvement. Now I rank that 4 or 5 points higher, 96 or 97, and it's certainly a great poem. But again, even at 96 or 97, it's not up there with my Grandma Chin poem. It's not up there with poetry itself or the Siamese Reflection or, others of my 10 or 20 greatest hits that people on the E-list would know of.
Well, even in terms of sonnets, you wouldn't put it up there with, say, the Passings.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But let's talk about the Super 7 now. We've detailed some of Valley Bridge Shadows, unless there's anything that you think needs to be said outside of that.
Well, the Valley Bridge Shadows, one thing that I would say is there is a supernatural element there that's never touched upon. And in there, we get hints of what is going to come later on in the trilogy. For example, an arrow comes out of nowhere and kills one of the guys on their horseback. And then when they finally ride into the Valley of Red Shadows, it seems like there's some kind of luck or some kind of cosmic destiny on the side of the good guys of Elias Walker. And it's not overt, it's never explained, but
metafictive.
What?
Very metafictive.
Yeah,
but that you think that's the author doing it.
Yeah, but it's also metaphysical in the sense because there seems to be some reason that the cosmos and everyone seems favorable to this Elias Walker. He's not a man of extraordinary wit or charm or strength or intellect, but he's one of these people that everything seems to go right for. And he, later on, we find out early in a Norwegian in the family, and then later in the trilogy that, he's known in the family for having been a great man, although no one can really say why he was great. Now, it could be that he had adventures later, but I'll never detail those adventures because it would defeat the purpose of showing him as sort of a hollow hero in this book. I mean, he's not a bad guy, he's a good guy. At the end, it looks like he's probably going to go off and maybe, meet a woman and buy a ranch and have some little success here or there. But that's the whole thing with the Western. I mean, it's not only deconstructing the hero, but the whole Western mythos. If you look at most Westerns, whether they're filmic Westerns or even something like the Virginian, there seems to always be something, or Riders of the Purple Sage, Zane Grey books, or there always seems to be something that God is on the side of the hero, on the cowboy. And in this book, there is too, but it's unexplained. It's not stated that it's God, that this guy...
You know what? It reminds me of it in a way, in just this way, but not in any other kind of way. There's a film called The Limey by Steven Soderbergh, and no matter what the main character does, he seems to avoid any kind of conflict. There's one scene that would be terrible in most other films where the bad guy is shooting at him, and he's missing every single time.
Yeah.
But that works because it's like a fantasy element. that the main character has. It reminds me of that in a way, because fantasy seems to be girding the narrative in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, this is I think it's a great book. I would say this is a great book, but again, it would be one of the minor great novels. The way the Ed Gein sonnet is a great sonnet, but it's a minor great sonnet, and it's the kind of book, just like the Gein sonnet, is the kind of poem that in much lesser writers people would say that's their masterpiece. But this is the first of three books, and it's the least of the three books, but it's still a great book.